Who is this?
Shepseskaf.
From which dynasty?
Fifth.
Fourth. The end of the Fourth dynasty. So this is this transformation happened in the Old Kingdom. Fourth dynasty. Supposedly the timeline of the original builders.
Right.
So that's not it. We can see here a clear evidence that stones were being recycled, reused.
Son of those pharaohs.
Yes, yes. So that's one solid proof that quarrying the sites and recycling the stones in them started and happened in the Old Kingdom itself.
Because
supposedly the timeline of
if your grandfathers did something great like this and we keep doing this, so you're gonna steal things and put your name on, or you're gonna have your own? Because I believe the technology will still active.
Yeah, if they had the knowledge, if they had the power, they will keep just doing more. But to take pieces of stones from older structures and reuse them in the Old Kingdom, that's
means that all
that's my most solid evidence, because now we got everything is actually documented, and there is the one that's in the real modern times. It doesn't need documentation because the stones document themselves. So we can take you in a like time travel from the Islamic era, coming through the Coptic and the Greco-Roman, late period, New Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, through the books. It's already mentioned, but nothing is mentioned that the Old Kingdom also did the same thing. And this piece that's nobody comes to visit actually has that evidence, and we're going to document it in a video, inshallah. And feel free to share it with the world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In the inside, you see that?
higher,
Yeah, this part here is where the pillar used to be on top.
It must have been quite tall if it needed a base this big.
This base was like until here. It will be underground, and only this part will be above ground, and then the pillar will be on top of it.
So it's at least 20 feet, 30 feet, at least?
Usually they between around 5 and 6 meters.
5 and 6 meters,
yeah.
15 to 18 feet.
كلمتك عنها
قلت لها عليها
بس ايه رايك واضحه صح؟
جدا.
لو الكتابه اللي عليها من الدوله القديمه مفيش كلام يعني. So this is the part we're gonna.
That is impossible in granite. That is granite, not limestone or sandstone, so you can have layers like this. Okay, that is very solid material. Quarters are going like this, interlocking inside each other, so it doesn't make layers.
It doesn't chip off like that.
Unless there is something very strong, but not rain, not humidity.
I mean, that seam it's paper straight virtually.
Yeah.
It's thinner than a piece of paper. That's insane.
Smaller, bigger, smaller. Why? And why we have, you can see from the beginning, you can see that looks like rectangular, and then square, and then rectangular. That kind of design is strange. See? Why it's not just big block, the same size, the same directions. Some, again, the Egyptologists are giving you the truth, but we need to fix it a little bit. They say this is the perfect example against earthquakes. So earthquakes, vibration, so it is not earthquakes, it's vibration. So the place was vibrating. And that is the best style to protect the walls from such vibrations. But it seems that it wasn't very good protection, because we can see all the layers, the outside layers. And tomorrow we're going to see how the stone used to look like before. This is maybe will tell us a little bit. Look, why this is the only one still have the surface. Excuse me.
Oh man, it's so. It's so flat.
Okay, maybe because it is harder material. This is like granite, or we can say dark gray granite. But why the others look? All the sides eroded except that one.
I was also telling Yusuf. Yeah, I was also telling Yusuf when we went into the Great Pyramid and we went into the center chamber with a box.
Yeah.
Why I noticed there and a few other places I never saw the stress cracks in the load-bearing supports. The stress cracks are always above, where you just wouldn't expect it to crack on top because there's not as much weight. You'd expect it to crack at the bottom, like your house. The foundation always cracks. So it's very strange to me that no matter where I go, I always see, and I'm not talking like little cracks, like stress cracks,
because
they're always up.
believe that the energy comes originally from the mound. So that's why it could be maybe going from lower to higher, and from higher go straight outside. So that place receiving from the pyramid, but the pyramid itself receiving from the below to above. That's why you could see it like this. But this is the only explanation I have.
Yeah, I agree.
And we can see the same thing on the pillars. Those are the pillars mistakenly that Egyptologists said they were found on the edges of the mountain. It wasn't cut and made like this by the Egyptian, no. Maybe they found and they made the last steps of the work, but they didn't suffer cutting the blocks. So how come they found the blocks almost the same size? If we are now they are the same, but let's say if they found them one maybe 5 meters high or less, but they will never find shorter. Because shorter it means it will not fit. They must find all them exceeding that height. It's rare because when we go now we don't find any. We find pieces like this or round blocks, but we don't find pillars like this scattered around. Also, the style of the shape itself is quite strange. T-shape. Why it is shaped like this? Why it is not just an open court with pillars like so many places? This is the head of the T, and that is the tail of the T. The dynasties used this place for mummification. So it's another proof that the place had a kind of healing power. But instead of using this for living, they use it for dead people. So one of the reasons that people will not discover the secret of mummification because they only think about mummification operation, but they don't think about where it happened. Because I believe both are very important. The process itself and where it happened. Because you can do the same steps one by one, but in a normal hospital, you will not have the same result. So it needs a place supporting this operation, supporting by energy, by waves, by magnet field, by, we don't know, but there is a kind of support from the place to the operation. Okay, so they need certain temperature, they need certain pressure, so this is happening.